In this video, you're gonna see me talk with a card shop owner out of Rhode Island who's struggling just a little bit, and I was breaking down to him what to do with people that come to your shop with cards from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and also what to do with people that actually have cards of value. It's an interesting question because card shop owners, a lot of the time, not saying everyone, but a lot of the time, they bend people over backwards and try to get all the juice out of someone they possibly could, but I explained to him why that may not or may be a good idea. In this video, let's get into it.
Yes, hi, Eric. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Derek.
What is it, Derek?
Yes.
Okay, what's up, man? How
Can you
can I
hear me?
help? Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, for sure.
Eric, I own a store. I own a card shop up in Rhode Island.
Nice.
Up in New England. And we were starting out real slow. Basically, I'll try to give you this real quick. I know you're busy, but
Yeah, go for it.
I had an old gentleman that I met at some card shows. Basically, a hoarder of baseball cards.
Okay.
Anything that's in 5,000 and 3,000 count boxes, anywhere from, big time junk era, but he does have a lot of vintage stuff too. So they're trying to get him to sell a lot of that. And, I'm trying to get his inventory under control and see what it's actually worth. So my first question to you is, if you had 5,000 to 3,000 count boxes, which total to about, let's say, 103 count boxes, about 55,000 count boxes. I've gone through as many as I can. It's mostly all commons. It might be 1988 Donruss, and you might have 50 round darlings from the Mets. Not something that's really worth a lot. Trying to get that inventory to do one big bulk sale for him. I have spoken to some people. They usually pay about $12 a box. How would you, in your opinion, try to sell a big, huge collection like that just to get rid of some of that stuff? And then the only other question I have is when I get people come in and when I appraise collections, someone wants to bring in a Tom Brady Bowman.
Yeah.
Raw. A lot of this stuff was raw.
Yep.
What would you usually do for buying a collection? I try to explain to them the grading process, things like that, and not kind of hammer them over the head. But as you know, everyone thinks that it's worth a lot more than you can really offer them. What's the going, in your professional opinion, what would you usually always offer as a barometer? I've been doing 60% comps. I just wanted your professional opinion. How do you buy cards when they bring them in after you appraise them for them? And also, how would you sell cards that really aren't meaningful, but, if you look at, 150, 5,000 and 3,000 count boxes, it has some value, I'm assuming. And I just wanted your professional opinion. Thank you so much for all your content. And I look forward to your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Okay. So, do you want to stay on while I answer this question?
Yeah, this would be great.
Stay on. I don't know if you're going to hang up. Yeah, stay on because you're probably going to have some questions to my answer. Okay, so you own a card shop in Rhode Island, starting off slow. Guy comes in, tons of cards. So, now, you're not just flipping sports cards. You are like a full on business owner, right? You have rent, you have overhead, you have this, you have that. So, if it was me, whatever that is, all those common cards, you have to ask yourself, could you make money on it? Yes. How much time is it going to take you? Too much. There's something in life called opportunity cost. You could put your time in a much better space. I would not deal with any of that crap. It's going to take up too much time for too little money. And honestly, no one wants it anyways. No one wants common 80s and 90s Donruss Ron Darling cards. So honestly, that's my simple answer to that. I wouldn't deal with it. Now, what I would deal with...
May I flow with you on that? Because I agree with you 100%. I've been trying to tell a 72-year-old gentleman whose cards. I moved them all there for him. I've been telling him, he has some bulk people that are looking for, they'll purchase them for him for, $12 or $15 a box. I'm saying just take them. I know it's probably cost you a lot more, but at this point, it's been, 30, 40 years that you've had most of these cards. They're just sitting there. You're going to die before you sell them all. He kind of refuses.
Yeah,
he kind of refuses to get rid of them. So here I am I have my own little side thing going on where I've been focusing on just raw cards.
Yeah.
So anything that's a Willie Mays, Ted Williams, anything that's vintage. anything up to Ricky Henderson, literally 1980. So anywhere from, if I can get cigarette cards or anything up to literally 1980 Ricky Henderson, or get lucky and get a Shohei Ohtani 2022 Heritage Red Ink 50 out of 72. That's a different story. As well as, let's say, like a Bobby Witt, Aqua. I get all that. I have a couple of those. But I've been sort of trying to pick up vintage cards. So my area is a little bit different than his. Rent is $500, and we have a huge area. Everything's included. So I kind of make sure I try to keep the cost as low as I can. We're working off cash right now, just because it's slow. We haven't done really any advertising. But he doesn't want to kind of, he doesn't think he needs to go that route. And lastly, I need to tell you too, he's gotten into Pokemon. So all his cash flow that he uses, rather than trying to sell a lot of this stuff, he's out there buying Prism boxes at Walmart. So he's actually a third, you know, you can only lead a dog of water, and you don't want to be disrespectful, but
at a certain point, though, you have to respect your own time. So one, I just wouldn't entertain it at all. The 80s and 90s stuff, that's like, I would just tell them it's worthless. Like that, like, people ask me that stuff all the time. Like, oh, I have all these cars from the 80s and 90s. What should I do with it? Wipe your ass with it. That's the best answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's worthless. It's kind of like asking me. It's like coming up to me on the street and saying, what should I do with this penny? How much can I make from it? A penny? It's worthless.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm taking that from you, my friend. I have to take that. I love your no nonsense. I think one of the reasons that you're so influential kind of to this, and people that are listening should get it. You're no nonsense. Don't have time to bullshit. Let's get this done. It's not rocket science, but you know, you gotta realize that it's not. Yeah, it's nice to have millions of cards, but if they're not worth anything,
it's actually not nice. It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. Like,
yes.
I've lost just from owning a company with like 30 something employees, and you just like naturally over time become very strict with your time and just get right to the point. But yeah, I would tell them, like, if you wanted an analogy, I would give them a piece of toilet paper and be like, this is what your cards are worth. What should you do? The same thing you would with your cards that you would with toilet paper. Not to sound disrespectful.
No. Is that 2-ply, Eric? Or is 1-ply?
If it keeps bothering you, that's what I would do. Just to respect your own time and get out of the story. But to answer
that was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And to answer your other question, so the other question is, like, people come in with like raw stuff, and you're asking me, like, what should you do? Should you bend them over backwards? Should you just tell them the truth? Like, right?
I tell everyone the truth. I said, hey, listen, you got a little something here, but you know, he's got a Hellbait. He has nonsense, and then he has this like one Bowman paper Tom Brady that looks immaculate. It's not shipped on the brown side. I try to explain to him, nothing else is worth anything. This is the only reason why I'd be buying this. And you know, I think comps for that raw card, let's say, are 500. Is that offer 250?
Nah, that's crazy. I mean, that you're bending him over backwards at that point. I mean, me personally, the way I look at business is, you want to try to make business like a win-win-win as much as you could. So like, if you've ever heard me talk about Major League Profits, you probably always, or read my emails, you always hear me talk about like how we actually like give a shit about client success, and we try as hard as possible to help people make money. Because selfishly, right, I love money just like you love money, and I want to make people as much money as possible, because then the good word spreads, right? Referrals and testimonials. So like, the right thing to do is actually do right by people. Even though you make a little bit less money in the short term, in the long term, you might go tell his friend, like, oh yeah, this dealer from Rhode Island is actually very fair. And he comes in, then he tells his friend, as opposed to people in sports cars are so short-sighted because they just want that quick, immediate money. But I would.
Yeah, I just don't know what to offer him. What would you offer him?
You said it's in immaculate condition, the card?
I don't know what's a mag. I would say it's probably a PSA 8, maybe.
What's a PSA 8 sell
Base
for?
It off of that. I think the PSA 8 is selling for, don't hold me this, maybe $750.
Yeah, so I would...
$5?
Yeah, I'd offer him 4, like 80% of comps. I would tell him, like,
gotcha. Excellent.
Listen, this card's worth like 5 at best. I'm not going to offer you 80%. Obviously, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a discount because I have all this stuff to pay for, and I'm giving you a fair price because I want you to tell your friends and your family about how I'm fair. And hey, if I make a lot of money on it, way more than I expect to make like maybe 200 to 300 if I'm lucky. If I, for some reason, crush it, I will send you back some money. I've done that with people in sports cars a ton. I bought cards from them just for no reason. I bought in cards from people that were like Beckett 9s and I was taking a flyer for like $2,000, not thinking it would 10. It would 10 and I would 5 times my money and sell it for 10 grand. I'll let the person know and that I made a lot of money and send them a few $100s. It goes a long way.
Good karma.
Yep.
Good karma. All right.
It goes a long way.
I can't thank you enough for your time. And I guess I have just one last tip.
Go for it.
If I've got about probably a 3,000 pound box or whatever it is in there with one touches, the bigger one touches. Anything from, again, Williams 55, like a Williams 56 or Hank Aaron 56, all the way up to Sporting News Mays and all the way up to some 75 Brett rookies, et cetera, et cetera. I would like to sell all those personally. I'm selling it as a collection, like a vintage collection. So you could purchase this vintage collection, or these are all Hank Aaron vintage collection. This is a Willie Mays vintage collection. Should I stay like that or spend the $1,500, ship them all out to, let's say, PSA, and then go that route? Yes. That's literally my last question.
Get them graded.
Okay.
You're a cost.
I can't thank you enough for your time.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for your time.
Remind me one more time.
Derek calling from Rhode Island.
Derek from Rhode Island with a card shop. Won't forget you. Yeah, keep me updated. Let me know how it goes. Call in next week and keep me updated.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you and your fam.
All right, Derek. You too, man. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Were there other callers? No? Well, we'll leave it at that because I need to give myself a little bit of time before all my meetings. I do appreciate everyone calling in. We try to do this Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I do think the next one we're doing may actually be on Sunday because I'm going to be away for the week. Appreciate everyone. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to call in with as many questions as you have about sports cards, business, life, whatever you want. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next one.